Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We ain't linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Should I be able to?
Hey you guys, welcome to another day of We Got Issues. We're so excited to be here on today. I tell you this topic that we're going to talk about today is one that's near and dear to my heart. And I know it's near and dear to many of your hearts because those of you that are parents, we're getting all these messages. Got it.
It's going down. It's going down today. It's time. It's time. It's time for the force of friendship. We got issues. We got issues. You got issues. We all got issues. This is your host today, Gloria Mayfield Banks, coming at you from Colombia, South America. Wow, you guys, we just had a couple of people over, and when they walked in, we're friends that we know from the States, and they came to see Colombia. We were like, did you get your vaccination? Did you get your shot? Did you get your shot? Did you get your shot? Everybody said, yeah, we got our shot. So it opened it up a little for some community, so for some fun, some conversation. It was so nice, you guys. And the women over here are so giving. They cooked this amazing meal, came, set it all up, cleaned it all up. I mean, I come back in here, everything's taken care of. I'm like, it's going to be hard pressed to go home. It's going to be hard pressed to go home. I'm telling you something. It's so exciting. You guys, welcome to the We Got Issue Show. This is WFDF, the Superstation, 9:10 a.m. And we're at the Superstation with some super bad women, and we're coming to you with a great topic. First, we want to tell you this. Okay, we got some coaching today, y'all. We got some coaching to take our radio show up even a higher notch. And we're so appreciative of all the information that we get that's going to make us better. So we're coming at you even more raw than before, even more authentic than before, even deeper with the comments. And it's so exciting because we want to fill you with love, light, laughter, and lessons. And with so much going on everywhere, including so much going on in the United States, it's just amazing what we have to handle. So we're so excited when our callers call in at 313-778-7600 because we're talking about Black women raising Black men in this environment. And when I tell you, this is such a hot topic, and it gets hotter and hotter every day. When I was talking to the women here, all of them have backgrounds from Boston. So we were sitting talking because I lived in Boston for a long time. And we were talking about it. It was just so amazing. The environment, not only just in the United States, but the environment when we live in different parts of the country, all over the country. And then so much is going on with the children, with the men, with the sons, with the daughters. I mean, this is a live conversation, but I'm first going to throw it out there to the West Coast, to my co-host. I'm going out there to Caterina Harris Earl. Hey, Caterina.
Hello. It is a beautiful day out here. Super beautiful. This is such an important topic. I mean, heavy all week, so much happening. And yesterday we had such on-time conversation talking about George Floyd, we had scheduled it before. Sabrina, with Your Brilliant Self. And I mean, right after the verdict, we were on. And so this topic ties directly into that conversation. Tomorrow, y'all, we're going to be talking more about the sentencing from the perspective of a Jamaican British man who is a BBC correspondent. So I'm really excited. I haven't personally given birth to children, but my husband has 2 boys, and so I'm excited to learn even more. And I'm raising grandchildren, so this definitely applies to me. I think this will apply to all women that choose to listen. So I'm excited. What's up, Sabrina? What's up, Sabrina?
Everything. Always good to see your sunshiny faces in all of these places. We're coming from South America. We're coming from Detroit. Crisette looking like a snow angel. I know it's snowing. Look how she's deep in the heart of winter. Okay, got her big winter sweater on. Looking amazing.
I know, I'm ready. Burn it up.
Okay, Gloria in 100-degree weather. We're diversified. We have great diversity amongst these women, and so it's all good. It's all good. Katrina, are you hot or cold? What are you today, Katrina?
I'm hot, and my fan broke last night. We got about 10 fans in this house, and my office fan broke last night. I'm fixing to order another one. Okay, I'm hot, Chris. Your sweater making me hot.
Right. Well,
Right.
Well, I am just right. My temperature is just right. And so I'm excited about being just right. Just when we were about to exhale yesterday, then we got hit with another death of a young Black child. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm glad to be here. I am. All right. Who's next? To
Crisette.
say hello. Oh, this Crisette. There she is.
Patty.
Say hello.
Hey everybody. I'm excited to be here on today. They talking about me. Those of you that from the D, y'all know we had Christmas in April on yesterday. We had snow everywhere. I mean, driving on the expressway, snow was falling off the cars, and I just had to laugh. I'm like, is this April? So yeah, I am nice and toasty with a nice warm sweater on because it's still a little chilly here in the D. But when I tell you, Sabrina, I'm so excited, Gloria, about this conversation that we are going to have on today. So much is in the news. I mean, just when we celebrated a victory lap on yesterday with the verdict, then we hear of another young Black child, teenager getting shot. And I know, a lot is going on. They have a lot of footage. So, one of the things that we have to always remember, because when you're so on edge, anytime something happens, you want to automatically jump to the conclusion that the police officer was wrong. And so while I know many times that is the case, there are also times where before you can jump on the side of, why'd they do this? You have to wait for all the information to get out. So it's just a reminder that, we don't want to have to retract statements because we said, they did this, that, and the other, and then the footage comes out and we see something different. But, today is a conversation that I think, all of us that have Black children, boys, and I know the topic is about our boys, but boys, and we saw today a young Black girl. So this is a conversation we need to have, and I'm ready to get it started. So I'm throwing it back to you, Gloria.
I'm so excited about this topic. Seriously, guys, I want to start out with Rebecca having a great comment in the Facebook page because she said, my children are mixed children. And you guys, this is everybody. This world now is so blended that it's about it's about Black women raising Black boys, but those same children go over to each other's houses. They're in school together. They're in sports together. They're raised together. We have to make sure that everyone knows that this conversation is in everybody's conversation. And I think that's one of the biggest things with the We've Got Issue brand here as girlfriends, you guys, as girlfriends. everybody's children. It's everybody's children. So to tell the truth, when we see a Black child hurt, we see a white child hurt, we see a Hispanic child hurt, we see all colors hurt at the same time. So I really engage everybody into this conversation. Let me just briefly give you guys some thoughts here. Police involved fatalities in the United States average nearly 3 deaths per day. In 2018 study in the American Journal of Public Health showed a Black man is more than twice as likely to be killed during that time than white men. One in every 1,000 Black men in the United States will be killed by a police officer. Did you guys hear that? 1 in every 1,000 Black men will be killed by a police officer versus 1 in every 2,000 men overall. That's a 2019 study. One of the things they talked about was a Black mom and a white mom discussing raising their children in the South. And the Black mom says, the fear has shaped my experience as a mother. So the first thing I want to do is I want to open up the conversation to just what Crisette was talking about is, as we're talking about bringing up Black sons, we're also talking about bringing up Black daughters. And we're also talking about bringing up all colors of races. And we're talking about, let me just say this to you, when white children see Black children brought up so differently, they're going to be on one or two sides. And one of the things that we saw on TikTok that was so prevalent during this last year was so many white children trying to explain to their white parents what Black Lives Matter meant and why it was so important for them to be part of the conversation and how they had to wake up to the conversation. And a little bit about what we talked about yesterday when we talked about how it's everybody's conversation and what it was going to mean when that verdict came out. This is, to me, what it means. It has to do with the community raising us up and how the community is going to make a difference. And because all of us, and what I love about us, the four of us, we got everything. We got our own sons. We got blended families. We got blended grandparents. I mean, we're raising up each other's kids. We know each other's kids as much as we know our own kids. And the thing is that when you start talking about it, Carolyn Musa said, I brought up 2 amazing men and her husband brought up 2 amazing men. You guys, I want to talk a little bit first. I'm going to open this up to the girlfriends, a conversation about fear, What, at this moment, in this time, as you raise your children, do you think about fear when you're raising them up? Who wants to go first?
Okay, Gloria, before we jump into that question, this is a great conversation, but I know we're talking about our sons, but yeah. Makia Bryant, we got to say her name. We can't just gloss over this 16-year-old girl being gunned down by the police. And I know we're on differing sides of this situation.
No, let's do that.
Because I talked to some people and they're like, well, she had a knife. What was the cop supposed to do? She did have a knife. She's the one who called the police. But I just believe that if the white cop was in the suburbs and was called to a teen situation, there would have been more patience, more kind care, more understanding. The girl had a knife. We see the video. And I know, Chris, we still gotta wait for some other facts to come out, but we're just too trigger happy. Why can't you tear gas, pepper spray, what's that word that we're using when we calm the situation down?
Taser. Oh.
No. Yes, de-escalate the situation. Okay. I mean, the girl, he shoots her 4 times. This is a 16-year-old girl with teenagers, and she had a knife, like she was going after the girl. You're a police officer. You got a lot of different things that you can do. She's the one who called the police saying that she was going to be jumped on. So some people say she was trying to protect herself. I don't know. I wasn't there. But my goodness, we see they tear down the Capitol building. They go and spray buildings of people, and they walk these people out, gently down the stairs. And so Makia Bryant, we got her name. We have to keep fighting for our babies. It's a different situation with our Black children. So when you say, what is the fear? It's major. It's major because of the climate in our environment. And I am passionate about it. I do get emotional. I've never talked to my sons about going out like they're going out now. They're college age. They like to hang out. I pray, Lord, bring my boys back home safely, get them home safely. I ask them, where are they going? Who are you going to be with? What part of town are you going to be in? I just find myself having conversations that I normally have not had to have. So,
you know, I want to hit on that Makia piece again, because I want to tell you that I believe that they can be so loose with going for the gun because they've been protected for so many years with it's okay to go for the gun first. And so that talks back to the police reform. That goes back to, we have to start talking right away. I know that we are all in this place where, how soon do you talk? How soon do you say something? But you know, the police got that video out right away. It's because of the pressure that you keep on. If the pressure is there, people are going to react differently. And if we don't do something, then we're the problem saying it's okay. And we're not saying that it's okay. But to say her name, you guys, I'm so excited. You guys are calling in. I'm so excited. We're going to go to the phone lines. But Makia, saying her name, keeping it in front, and making people understand that we think that it was too fast, that we think there were some other options, and put them on a place where they have to defend themselves.
Yeah. And I'm just, I'm tired of the hashtags, tired of seeing the name. Every day, all day, we're adding another name to say. This has got to stop, you guys. I'm sick of it. I really am. I am. Gloria, you want to go to the phone lines? Or Go ahead, Caterina.
I was just going to say, if it was my daughter that was about to be stabbed, I would want her to be protected. But I'm just wondering, is there any other place you can shoot somebody aside for to kill? Can you shoot them in the leg, in the butt? Just it seems like always, if you have to shoot somebody, if you have to, do you always have to shoot them to kill them? So I know we're going to a caller, Gloria.
Yeah, let's go to the caller, but 4 times, you guys, 4 times. Brian, are you there? We want to hear from you, Brian. Thank you for calling into We Got Issues, and we want to hear from you, your comment or your issue.
All time, everything was doing good until y'all came on and told the truth. Let me tell you what hasn't been said. That's the case where you use a taser.
Yeah.
If you're quick enough to get the gun, you're quick enough to get the taser. One time, shoot up, instantly drop that knife.
Right.
And hold on, because we're going to say her name before it's over. But here's the crazy part. Where, once again, if the girl had problems or whoever called or whatever, immediately when the cops got out the car, they could have said, hey, she crazy, anything. But here's what my problem is. Already I had about 5 arguments. And thank God I didn't have my thing on me, because these arguments were so heated up. See, that's what the problem is. We don't comply with the police. We don't this and that. I said, from my understanding, what I watched, there was no complying. There was shot. Now, what y'all didn't understand, I ain't no cop, but I'm a street guy. But I'm going to tell you this. I mean, I ain't war. But my experience and my training and shooting on the streets and in the range, 4 shots in a mask or anywhere like that, that man not only pulled the trigger fast, to me, my personal opinion, he never let up. You can't shoot and pull the trigger 4 times to hit the chest like that. That girl at that age, 1 shot would have ripped her body and moved it instantly. So that means 4 shots in a mask. It's almost like, I won't even say the name of Detroit because that's going to piss me off. But Detroit, look at just the Detroit murders alone. Get any one of these busters, I don't call them leaders no more. And that's what our problem is. If you had any leadership, see, when we did our thing in the 80s, we were wrong. And now that we became so-called activists, my problem is we ran into black activists that's willing to grab that black activist check. And that means he'll be there with you, but he's got that corporate check. So until we get people like me, and I don't raise the gun no more, I raise my intelligence. Where's your black people in Detroit now, these so-called activists, to stop it here? It's going to happen again. Hold on, it's going to get worse in Detroit. I'm from Mack Avenue. You name the street, we lived on it. I'm the youngest of one of the Joneses. And I'm telling you right now, the conversation now is people that is tired of these kids and these babies. We don't talk about Aiyana Jones no more. We don't talk about how these cops get away with it. I'm in Oakland County telling you, you do not want to see my shoeboxes of cases against these devils. And that's what they are. Until my black people get back up on their feet. Now, here you sisters are strong enough. Now, listen to the compliment I'm going to give you. Where's my brothers with a group like y'all? I hear the compassion of y'all. And we had that sister here that Pastor, I'm going to reach out to you because your husband is definitely respected at Greater Grace. And I think right now, all that kumbaya stuff is over with that. They need demands. This is what they need. The chiefs need to have a meeting across the cities, like in Michigan. All the chiefs in Michigan need to talk. Then they need to sit down to the next gangsters and tell them about how they used to beat us and get away with it. They do it now in the court with the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, my bad. The judges retired. So this is our last stand.
Yeah.
It's 2021. Something's got to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna have to go to a break. What you're saying is the men's voice need to be heard. We need to hear more voice from the men, not just
Excited. We're going to come back from the break and continue this hot conversation because we got issues. We got issues at 9:10 a.m. the Superstation.
Okay, you guys. So we are on our break, and when I tell you this is such a hot topic, and I'm going to tell you, as a mother of a Black son, there are times where, you know, we do worry if, you know, our children or our child is going to come back safe. Guys, I so remember the Trayvon Martin case where, you know, he just gone to the store to get some Skittles and something to drink and walking home, minding his own business. And, you know, when I look at him, I see my son, Buddy. And I just remember not too long ago, maybe about a year or so ago, we were out taking a run. And one of the comments that he made that was just so powerful as we were walking back to the house, he said, Mom, you know what? You would think that I would be out here walking with you and me being with you would I could protect you. He said, but the truth of the matter, in the neighborhood that we're living in the suburbs, you being with me, you're probably protecting me from what could happen because, you know, we at that time lived in a predominantly white area. And, you know, you didn't see a lot of Black boys walking around jogging or whatever the case may be. And I know that there have been many times where, you know, young Black boys that live in those communities have been stopped by, you know, someone else that lives in the community and asking, you know, why are you, you know, walking around in the community? And they don't even know that they live in the community. So you guys, there's just so much, you know, that we have to deal with, you know. But he even talks about, you know, he doesn't really wear a hoodie, you know, to go running because that could make him a target. So, you know, we have so many things that we have to think about when we our young Black boys are out that I think other people do not have to worry about. So we're going to continue the conversation. So thank you so much for all of your input. And yeah, this is a good topic.
You know what they say in our commercial, this much flavor, this much flavor, this much flavor. We got plenty of flavor. Y'all, we got plenty of flavor right now. We're talking about bringing up these Black men, Black sons, fear, calling the police out. There's so much going on. So excited to have this kind of conversation. I want to tell you guys, we are just really wanting to make sure that we have a real deep conversation about what you are feeling and what advice you might have. You know, our kids are grown. They're in their 30s and 40s, and Sabrina's got some still in college. But
20s, mine's still in the 20s. Mine's still in the 20s. Mine ain't 30s
in college.
Okay.
She want to make sure you know.
She think they in the teens, but you ain't in the teens, okay? You ain't in the teens. So just keep it real, okay? Because she always trying to correct somebody. And then when she make a mistake, she's like, oh, my bad. You're right. Because
Right,
we got them in
right.
the 20s. Some of us got them in the 40s. What? Got grandkids. And you guys, my grandsons are mixed. They're Latino and Black. So I really am into this conversation, for real into this conversation. But we got to go to the phone lines real quick. We got Miss Chappelle. Miss Chappelle, are you there with us? We got issues. Did you call in the We Got Issues? Because we're glad you called in.
Yes, I'm here. I've been listening to several of the conversations, and just to give a backdrop, I'm very big on social media nowadays, and so one of the posts I always put up is that I say that I am a Black woman who married her Black man and birthed 12 Black kids for him. My Black is beautiful. Out of our 12 kids, 8 of them are boys. And so they range from the age of 22, and my baby, I have 12, and 8 boys and 4 girls. So when things like this happen in the media, you're conflicted as well as being a believer. But let me just tell you this. Sometimes when things happen, I understand that we can get the view of trying to look at it from a safe perspective. But honestly, who I am as a mother, I'm not looking at it from a safe perspective, because I, like every other mother, you want your babies to come home. You want your sons to come home. You know how you raised your kids. You raised them to respect others. I'm from the red dirt roads of Bellevue, Alabama. I reside in Cleveland, Ohio now. And I was raised with my grandfather, having the villager in his pocket, putting shotguns on the wall. So we understand what guns are. We understand the respect of guns. But when you have police officers now that don't have, they have the badge of honor, so to speak, quote unquote. But when our Black boys are out amongst out amongst the society, I'm looking at it like I have one son. He has dreads. I have another son who chews. We have style. Black people, we have style. Right. So people always prejudge our kids. And so the thing of it is that when my boys are out amongst the world, when things like this happen with George Floyd and this young lady is in Columbus, whether or not, we can't talk about her background, how she was being raised. But me as a mother, knowing how I'm raising my kids, my thing is, I want my kids to come home at night like everybody else want their kids to come home at night, regardless about the culture, regardless about, whether or not your faith is this or your faith is that. But the thing of it is, we have to have accountability with the police. Those who are supposed to protect and serve us. Like at the end of the day, you can't prejudge. You got to understand that you're living in a different society where the little Black boys are not walking around now with bow ties on, with how we used to dress our little boys in the back days with the little undershirts under the argon sweaters and things like that. Our kids now, as sweet and safe as they are, they're walking around with dreads. They're walking around with sagging jeans. They're walking around with white tees and hoodies, because that's just culture. But when you stop and talk and ask them, these kids have manners, but you just choose to shoot because you see a Black boy. But on the end, I'm sitting here looking at, like, telling my husband, like, listen, make sure that you get all of my sons down to the baby that's 5 years old. Make sure they learn how to shoot a rifle, because at the end of the day, we got to learn to protect ourselves. And I'm telling my kids, listen, at the end of the day, if you got a gun, you coming home, shoot or be shot. That's just my message. But then on the other end, you're looking at it like, okay, but I love Jesus. We're saved. I could tell that's a thought in my motherly heart. Before a white man sit there and wrongfully put his knee on your neck, you kill him. Let his mother cry before I cry. So now it's like, where are we at as a society? Where are we at? Because at the end of the day, when you want to do right on one end, your passion is sitting on the other end. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Who are you to say that you can sit here and kill somebody because of your perception? Right. Are we not on here? You're just really bringing it right here. You're bringing it for real. Your child coming home, the style that we have, the culture that we have, the gun. We have to do a whole nother show on gun control. But you are bringing home the real stuff. Because I love what you said. Either she cries or I cry. And what do we do? And how do we do that with the face? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's the truth.
I have at the end of the day, what I tell my kids, listen, I understand on Judgment Day. When I stand before God, listen, judge me on my heart, because at the end of the day, I could care less about that white woman that's down the street from me thinking her son better than my son, when I know how to raise my son. You don't have the right to kill him because he's black. Right. So now, as a mother, as a woman, the same thing that I cared for 10 months is the same thing she cared for 10 months. Right. Your feet don't have the right to kill my feet when I'm raising my son to say, respect him. But then you raise your son another kind of way. So it's kind of weird. We talk about spiritual warfare, but it's an all-out war here. Mm. So where do we draw the line at? Because situations like this, at the end of the day, I tell Jesus, listen, put that in my heart, because I don't have it in my heart, because I want my babies to come home the same way she wants her babies to come home. Mm-hmm. I love that what you said, put it in my heart, because we're in a war here. And I love what you said, because we are in a war in the United States. It's so, we wake up every day, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Your child doesn't have, what is it when they take your son to war? They have to get drafted. Your son's not drafted. He's just walking down the street with a different outfit, with his hair braided to the left or to the right. I'm just absolutely loving it. I thank you so much for calling and bringing into this conversation. And the other thing I love about you, Michelle,
that you brought to this phone call, to this talk show, because it's really, really critical. And the women are identifying with the fact that you are passionate about men, you're passionate about the women, and you're a mother, a real mother, a faithful mother, but you have passion. And then the guns are out there, the guns. We're going to take another caller, Miss Chappelle, but I'm so glad that you called. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That was fabulous. You guys, when you call in with that kind of passion, I'm so excited. We love it when you call in to We Got Issues, because we got issues, and the force of girlfriends here, the force of friendship with your girlfriends here, however I'm supposed to say it, is really important that you call in at 313-778-7600. We're going to Marathon. Are you there, Marathon?
Yes, I'm here. I wanted to talk about this from a man's perspective. What about when we have to swallow our pride and let our son know that sometimes we have to just kind of cool our jets? We can't be aggressive as black men. We have to swallow our pride. And we don't want to tell our young boys that your dad was a punk. But we go through that every day as a black man. Right.
Hey, Marathon.
We don't have nobody to talk to. What if we don't have no woman at home?
Yeah.
I hear you. That's all we think about. What?
No, I was just going to comment on what Marathon said about, the black man having to cool his jets and, take down and not be forceful, even in the face of a cop disrespecting you. And I know for black men, that's a big deal, not to be disrespected. But at the end of the day, Chuck, my husband, always talks about, and the church knows, he says it all the time, you know what? I'm just trying to get home. He said, if somebody flip me a bird, I'm not flipping another bird. I'm just trying to get home, because at the end of the day, you rather be able to get home and to fight live to fight another day, as opposed to being 6 feet under. But I just know, and therein lies a totally different conversation about the stress that our black men are under, because they can't just go out into the world carefree and not have to think about if a police cop, and I've heard adult men 50, 60 talk about when they're in the car and a police car gets behind them and they're not sure what, their heart starts beating faster. They start sweating. They start palpitating. You know, their heart is palpitating, and it could just be your tail light is out. But because they know that a simple traffic stop could mean that they could end up in a morgue, that's stress. So Marathon, I hear you. I totally hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Gloria,
the other thing I want to ask. Marathon, let me ask you this question. I want to ask you a question. As a woman raising
A black man who sometimes has to be faced with this decision. But you want your son to be strong and confident and right. How do you think that conversation goes? How do you think that conversation is going to guide him?
Well, first of all, you let the son know that he has uncles, he has teachers, he has ministers, he has deacons. There's always male presence.
So the role model.
Role models, yes.
Yes.
And,
thank you so much for.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for calling in. We got issues. We love hearing from you. We're so glad.
that call in. That always makes a difference. And you know, I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to go to one more caller, and then, ladies, I want you guys to think about the things that you have said to your son. Because I'll tell you, my son Chauncey, when he was in high school, he was one of those hotheads. He was like a hothead in high school. You know, like when he was on the call, he said what he was. He was a hothead. He was like a hothead. That's the only description I want to give it. But I do want you to know that I was very nervous because that's who he was at that time. He hadn't matured to the place where he could control his emotions, and it was very scary for me. However, Sylvia, are you still with us? Sylvia, are you still with us? Did you call in to We Got Issues?
I'm a single mother and a grandma now. You know, it's a shame that you kind of feel like you're back in history where you worry about your children being snatched from you at any given time or moment. And I believe that the hate crimes, these are hate crimes initiated, that the war on black bodies still being declared on black bodies everywhere. I truly believe that this was routine, that the situation would have been de-escalated with no deadly shots fired and no life expired. And so we have to continue to have conversations as a community to get this across, that there is, I do believe that there's an initiation of these hate crimes. Man-made poverty is a hate crime. Police brutality is a hate crime. And so we have to, I think, educate us as a community, black and white, all across the board, what's going on, how these people, I call them criminal elites. They want to keep the division up, and so they want to look like this war on black people and black clients when they're killing all of us. It just looks, and I do believe that it's more of us that are bearing the brunt of this hatred and this cause of division to keep us all at arms at each other. And we have to reach our children, let them know how much we love them every day, and try to help us all be educated to liberate and to navigate. Thank you for taking my call. I love you. I share it, guys.
Thank you, Sylvia. Educate, elevate. I just love that. That was awesome close to that, Sylvia.
Voice. Caterina, you wanted to say something about the hate crimes?
Yeah, I wanted to just say, as a Gigi of grandchildren, this has been serious. Two of my youngest grandboys, for those of you that follow on social media, they were born and raised prior to school in Chicago, and now they live in Arizona. And so I've worried about them on both sides of the fence, what it means to be in Chicago. And then during COVID, it got so bad in Arizona that they were not allowed to even walk to the mailbox to get the mail. Normally they would go to the mailbox and just get the mail and bring it back to their mother. But there was a hit out for hate crimes were running rampant. I experienced this with my granddaughter, having a conversation with her about race and taking her to school, to University of Michigan, and she was absolutely hate crime happen on the campus, and she called in tears. It was one of the biggest things that she had experienced growing up in Chicago, in the South Side, but she dealt with the fear being at University of Michigan. And likewise with my older grandson, he went to college in Alabama and now Iowa, so experiencing two different ends. And so Black kids are getting it from both ends. They got to protect themselves in the hood. They got to protect themselves in the white neighborhood. They got to protect themselves in the low income neighborhood and upper class neighborhood. You're not supposed to be here. We have to train them how to act under every situation and circumstance. And it is
that's a lot.
That's what you said, Caterina, when you said we train them, let's talk about that for a second. The talk, the talk, the parents, Callie talked about it on Facebook, the talk. How have some of you had the talk? Caterina, what was the talk you had when your granddaughter called crying? What was the talk you had with your grandsons?
Well, it wasn't difficult to have the talk because I had to have the talk when I was at a white college where I was president of the college and had my whole situation trashed because of race. And so I first I listened, and then I prepared her and I talked to her about, we decided, was she going to stay? Was she going to go? But I talked to her about this, preparing her, unfortunately, for life, that this college with however many people, Chris, 20,000, however many folks, 100,000 people are at that college, is a microcosm of society. And this is what she's going to have to deal with. And now she has graduated and she has chosen, Gloria, to stay close to the college. And one of the reasons she's chosen to stay close is because she wants to support young Black kids that are freshmen that are coming to school. She feels that that's part of what she's called to do while she's getting her master's degree. So, seriously, I had the talk, but I talked to her about being safe. I talked to her about making sure she was protecting herself at night. And I'm a Christian too, but if she had to fight back and slap somebody, protect yourself by any means necessary.
Right.
So we had the talk.
Right. Absolutely. Any other girlfriends kind of give us an example of when you had the talk?
Yeah, Gloria, I know for me, I was really, the Trayvon Martin case really hit me very hard because, when I looked at him, I saw my son, and it's so many other names that we could say. We saw our sons, we saw our brothers, we saw our uncle, we saw our father. And, with Buddy, being raised as, a child in the inner city and then moving into the suburbs where it wasn't a whole lot of Black folk there. Even having the conversation about what you should wear. Any other Caucasian boy can put on any kind of hoodie, black, brown, it doesn't matter. They could go anywhere and not have to think about, could this hoodie cause me to be arrested? Could this hoodie cause people in the car that are riding around and seeing my son in a Black hoodie, not knowing that he lives in the neighborhood, because they're not used to seeing a Black boy walk around in a hoodie, now he has to answer 101 questions about, where are you going? Get out of this neighborhood. And you want to say, dude, I live right up the street. And, one of the things I remember having a conversation with Buddy, and we were out jogging one day and we were walking back, and he said to me, and this was so powerful and I hadn't thought about it. And this is when there was a lot of unrest that was going on. And he said, you know what, Mom? He said, if anybody saw us walking, they would think, me being the younger one, that I would protect you. He said, but do you realize where we are? You being with me is probably protecting me, because people would think twice about stopping me if I'm walking with you as your mother. He said, but if I was by myself, I would probably be in trouble. That is so, to me, you guys, so much stress that our young people, our young men have to carry, because they don't have the freedom to just exist and to be carefree and happy-go-lucky. They have to literally be strategic about where they are, what they say. I mean, Buddy says, when I go in, it's only safe to wear a hoodie that has the name of the university that you graduated from, because then, they're college educated, so it's okay. So yeah, that's a conversation that we've talked about, how he dresses and what he says, and keeping a very demure facade so that, nothing gets set off or nothing gets taken out of context.
And the stress associated with acting differently than what you feel, just so something doesn't happen. To be very conscious of, I need to act this way, even though I might feel this way. The stress, you said it, the stress upon stress is so amazing. And to think that you're protecting him because you're walking with him, so he's not alone.
Right.
That is the reality
Gloria,
of the reality.
The white kids are dressed, they're sagging, they're wearing hoodies. I mean, let's be clear, it's not just the black kids that are dressing, with the hip hop culture.
Yeah, but we need to tell our boys to pull their pants up. But our boys need to pull their pants up.
Exactly. They like the hip hop just as much as anybody, and they wear in that culture.
Okay. Our boys, but you guys, we got to tell our boys to pull their pants up. I cannot stand them sagging. I know it's a style, but no. I no. And so when you talk about the talk, I cannot stand it. When I see Kennedy, because he likes to say, pull your pants up. Now, I don't know what you do when you go down on the campus, but around me, pull them up. And so the talk
pull them pants up, boy.
Pull them up. But the talk has always been, know who you are. Be proud of your heritage. We don't minimize who we are. You are not penalized because of the color of your skin. You're just as smart. You're just as capable. You are worthy. So let's not ever be in a situation where they are making you feel less than. My boys wrestle. It's a predominantly white sport. They've always been the only one on the team. At UNC Chapel Hill, it was Kennedy, the only one on the team. Quincy at Princeton University, he's the only one on the team. And so I'm always saying, how are you feeling? What are they saying? Because sometimes when it's just that one, they monitor their conversation. They don't say what they normally would say. So I encourage parents to get your kids, don't make your kids not be part of because they are the only one. And so I just think it's the conversation has to be had over and over again, that we are enough, we belong, we're capable, we are able.
Yeah, I think the fact that you say we have to sue it over and over and over again, we can't get tired. They can't hear it enough. And the village piece, I got to say it to that young brother. You got to say it to that young brother. We got to say it to a whole bunch of people that we don't know. And the chat went crazy. We all got to tell them to pull their pants up. We all got to be that strong woman that we've seen grow up when we grew up. Like, you would not go down and talk anyway to the neighbor because the neighbor's going to tell your mother, so you better not do it. We're now those people that are telling them, pull your pants up. Don't take yourself to a place that you don't even want to go to just because you see that, because you don't want to give people the impression that no one cares about you, because we care about you. We're going to go to the caller. Brother Bray, are you there with us? And we got issues. Did you call in? Do we got issues? Because we want to hear from you.
Hello?
Hello, how are you, Brother Bray?
Yeah, that's Brother Bay, B-E-Y.
Brother Bay.
Right. I'm up here in Flint, Michigan, and there's two words I like to get rid of. Now, we're going to get rid of the N-word. A lot of people don't get that. You don't even want to say it. I think we ought to get rid of the word thug. Because if you research the word thug, that's a word that came from India back in maybe the 16th, 17th century, but they used it fudgy. They didn't say thug, and those was ones that would dress up like bodyguards and rob people. Somehow, when Tupac put that thug life on his chest, as he say, that's when all his trouble started. That's when people started calling themselves thugs. Even gangsters back in the 30s and the 40s, I'm talking about the mafia. They don't call themselves thugs. And I heard Dick Gregory say that these young men with their pants falling down, they're not all bad and dumb. Like you say, the mafia wears suit and tie. They do more than any of these so-called young men with their pants falling down. You can go on YouTube. You got Sammy the Bull on there because he was a snitch for the government on his boss, John Gotti. He's on his YouTube talking about how many people he killed and all that. And they can't do nothing to him. How many brothers do you know on YouTube doing that? You might find one out there, somebody from Detroit or somewhere.
Right.
But other than that, and as far as the young lady, I heard a brother call in here today on one of the shows, and he was on the cop side and shooting a lady because he said he would have thanked the cop. He said he would thank the cop if that, he said you could hit an artery or something. If that would have been his daughter, the cop saved their life. So he was on the cop side. And if we keep thinking like that, they're going to keep killing us, because them cops going to always be on each other's side where they right or wrong. And we going to have to be on each other's side from the beginning, right or wrong. We find out the rest later. It's like being in a motorcycle club. One person fight, everybody fight. That's the way we're going to have to be. The South and the North fought. 20,000, Gettysburg, 20,000 killed in one day on both sides. As they say, the bloodiest battle in history. The South still didn't surrender until maybe a year or two later. See, this is the mindset a lot of these Europeans got. Because a lot of us done been, we so in love with the finer things in life as material, they used to say in the Army. See, the Russians don't want that big Cadillac. He ain't thinking about that big house. And he ain't thinking about a Cadillac and a white woman. See, but we got all these things in our hearts, and we thinking that I ain't ready to die. I'm 62 years old. I probably ain't been stopped by the police in 20 years. First thing I do when I leave home, I make sure all my tail lights is working, all my blinkers is working. If a police pull on the side of me at a traffic light, I don't even look at them. Because that's the way I was taught. Look straight ahead. And my father used to tell me, if you in a car back in the 70s, we riding around in our old car, 65, 66. Back then we riding Ford Beach. And he said, if the police get behind you, don't even turn around and look. Just act like you don't see them, because they look for suspicion. If you doing anything they feel that you nervous or looking at, just don't pay no attention to them. But that's what they look for, and these young people get real nervous when they see them, and it's always going to be, if they got more than one in the car, it's going to be just one person in the car that gets to jumping and getting fidgety because he got this fear of police. I don't even think when the police get up behind me that I'm going to die. Because in my mind, I done already had my funeral when I left home. Like I say, it's easy. Dying is easy. Not that I'm in a hurry to die. Dying is easy. Living is hard. So if you keep on going out here with this fear in your mind that the police is going to do something to you, I can understand young people, but they the ones out here dying in the streets by the police mostly. And
okay, let me just say this. You're giving the talk right now. You're giving the talk right now. That talk about how you act when the police calls up, because a lot of people don't hear that talk. Just keep looking straight ahead. Because a lot of people, because they don't know how to act, they act incorrectly. So, you got the talk, and we need more men and women telling them about the talk. And it's a shame, but it's the truth. It's the reality that we have to know how to act, so that they don't act inappropriately until more reform has happened. But you're talking about the talk right here.
Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for these young people, wouldn't have been no conviction of the killer cops, and they wouldn't have been doing nothing because it was the young people out there doing the marching, getting shot,
right.
And we don't hear the young. First one I heard say the rest of the cops was that I heard when I was watching the movie with Tamika Mallory. Now everybody upset, a lot of people upset with her because she's doing the Cadillac commercial. I mean, so what? But she was the first one I actually heard that said, arrest them. And, And that's what happened. The young people don't get the credit. We want to give the credit to everybody else. But the young people were the foot soldiers in the streets. The ones who they falling down pants and sagging and dreadlocks and women in shorts. You know, them was the ones that's going to be out there in them streets. The ones with their sagging pants. Now, they might got to learn how to put a belt on their pants so you out there on the battlefield, you can run. You know, but them are the ones. These are our children.
That's right. That's right.
So like I say, we got to love them. You know, I got little relatives, but they were taught, you know, not to do this sagging. Now that they're 20 years old, one of them, he tried to sag a little. I just kind of, you know, say, yeah, I see you done started at a late age. And he just kind of laughs at it. But when he gets outside and go back home to his mama, he know that he can't come in that door with his pants down to his ankle.
Well, we got one more caller, brother. We got one more caller. Let me get this one more caller in real quick because we want to hear from him. But I thank you for the talk. Thank you for the talk. Okay, so I think we have Dre on the call real quick before we have to end the show. Dre, you got about a minute. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. I just wanted to say, the gentleman that was talking earlier about culture, yes, we as a black people have culture. But culture is not what you wear. It's not wearing your pants below your bottom. It's not going out there and acting a fool. And I feel sorry for the families of the children that are getting killed, especially this young lady that got killed.
Right.
It was back in the day when they said shoot, when the cops would shoot, they had to shoot below the knee to disable the person, not to kill the person. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, shooting is to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't, that's the problem.
Right.
Is they need to go back to the defense of, if you have to pick up that gun, you have to drop the person to the ground, not kill the person. But our young men need to learn where the culture came from, wearing the pants below their bottom. It's a prison look. And they need to take it to real. In prison, these men wear these pants to tell the other men they're available. Mm-hmm. And they need to stop wearing that look because our men need to take their pride back.
You know, again, you know, you're giving some of the talk, Drea, and so we're so glad you called in because you're giving the talk the history. Because sometimes they don't
because they don't know any better. They don't know the deal. They don't know what it represents. They think because their friend does it, they do it, but they don't even understand what. That's like the same thing when you wear a wife beater. Who's going to wear a shirt that says wife beater? That's just so awful to say something, to have pride and name a shirt like that people walk into a store for the white beater. I mean, it's just so many things. And again, Drea, what you're talking about is how are we going to bring these boys up to understand how to become men in a time like this and an environment like this. And this is so exciting for us to continue this conversation. Thank you so much, Drea, for calling in. Thank you so much. You guys, this is bye-bye, girl. Bye-bye. And thanks for hanging with us. She be hanging with us, y'all. She be hanging with the Force of Friendship. And our tribe is growing and growing and growing. And the show is growing and growing and growing. I'm so excited that we had this talk today. We've got to be a village again. It's more important now that we're a village than ever before. And the other thing is these young men, like those that are Sabrina's kids, age 20, okay, or the ones that are 34, they're the ones who have to reach over. They're the ones who are going to have to start the village sooner because the village is more important now than ever. And so we're so excited. Tomorrow, we're going to bring you some talk. Tomorrow, Nick is coming from Jamaica, and we're going to bring it in tomorrow. So we're so glad that you guys were with us today with We Got Issues, WFDF. 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. Find us everywhere because we definitely want to find you. And we're signing out. We got issues. Bye-bye.
And Gloria, tell them to join Big Fella. Stay tuned for the next show. Big Fella.
Oh, yes. Stay tuned for the next show. This is going to be so good, you guys. Go on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. You can see it on Facebook as well. But we're so excited to be with us on the next show right here at 9:10 a.m. It's going to be juicy. DJ, the Big Fella.
Thank you. Okay. Good job, Gloria.
Hot callers. Y'all were hot. The chat was hot.
Yeah, that was good.
It was hot. It was good.
And you know what? I think we sounded 100% better today. It wasn't a whole lot of feedback. I could hear everybody clearly. It was a good day when it comes to sound.
Yes. What do we have to say to our
crazy?
What do we have to say? What do we have to say to the live audience before we sign off?
Right. We want to invite the live audience to the next show. We're supporting our friend that supported us today, and so they can go on 9:10 a.m. They can go on Facebook if they want to hear a phenomenal talk show host. And he's done some really good stuff, both in Detroit and St. Louis. You might like his personality. It's gonna be awesome.
The big fella.
Yeah.
Sabrina, you want to tell them what you're bringing tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow you guys are gonna love Nick. Gloria has met Nick. Crisette has met Nick. Sabrina will meet him tomorrow. Y'all, I met Nick through Airbnb Adventures. Actually, he's a chocolatier. So a chocolatier in Jamaica. So you're gonna just fall in love with just the accent alone. You feel like you take a vacation. But he is a correspondent for the BBC, and so we started having a conversation about how the George Floyd incident has impacted the world. He's going to talk to us about it from a British and Jamaican perspective. So tune in. Let's see how many folks we can get on from Jamaica and from the UK. So call your girlfriends, tag your girlfriends. If you can get a girlfriend on from out of the country, we're going to give you some we got issues credit. Okay. So thank you. We love you. And Friday is going to be amazing too. So we'll see you the rest of the week.
It's going to be awesome, y'all. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.